And incidentally, on your screen there, you can see the countdown to 2017. 301 days, 22 hours, 24 minutes, and 56 seconds as we speak to the next general election. Now, as we head towards that date, a section of MPs from Mukambani region have issued a 30-day ultimatum to Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to declare his political stand and unite the community in the wake of the scramble for Court's presidential ticket. Now, of course, these MPs who have been quoted as some of those who are said to have defected and headed to Jubilee, the same Jubilee that is heading to China to learn one or two things on how to run the party of mechanisms. But you know, when people start making such declarations and giving ultimatums, there must be something underlying. There's, of course, this whole discussion that the rift within Court, is Kalonzo Musyoka still standing within the Court coalition? Has he moved? Is he planning to move? Now we're seeing him giving an ultimatum to give the community the way forward.
Yeah, you know, I can describe that with just one word. Panic. Yeah, if you look at those 4 MPs who say that, first of all, they're all first-time MPs. Out of the 4, only 2 of them are Wiper MPs. And if you notice what our party leader in Wiper has been doing, he's not been to Kambani in quite a long time. He's been to Garsen, Tana River, he's been to Garissa, he's been to Mombasa. Last Friday we were in Kajiado, and so on and so forth. So going around the country looking for support, because Ukambani is locked. Why is Ukambani locked? The people have decided that this is the direction we want to go. Our leader is Kalonzo Musyoka, and anybody else who goes around vilifying him, we don't want. So these MPs who have now gone to Jubilee cannot even step in their constituencies. Now, you're hearing one of them who've already gone to Jubilee. These are Jubilee MPs now for all purposes and all purposes and intents. And they're saying, we admit that Kalonzo is the leader of the Kambas. We admit that Kalonzo is the only one who can give us direction. So if you're in a different coalition, why are you worried about what we are doing in Wiper? Why are you promoting somebody else, Kalonzo Musyoka? You should be saying that about Uhuru Kenyatta.
Very valid question here, because these people were defected. But now it's like they're going back and saying, okay, we need our leader with us. Probably he should also come, but he has never declared he wants to go to Jubilee.
And just before Urungu goes in, as I finish my train of thought, I apologize. Now, these people, it's been made very clear to them by the people that, well, no, if you're not in Wiper, you're not going to get your seats back. If you're not with Kalonzo, you're not going to get your seats back. So now they're coming back and they're giving ultimatums, telling Kalonzo, please unite us, please bring us together. And yet, when they went to Jubilee, they were telling Jubilee, we can come with the people. And that's why you saw in last week's headline in the Citizen newspaper, it gave a list of every MP that defected and how much money they were given to defect. So you've bought somebody, you have not bought the community. And that's why they're in panic.
These MPs are even asking Kalonzo Musyoka to dissolve the Wiper party and follow them to Jubilee. Surely, when they were moving to Jubilee, didn't they know that they would need their leader there?
No, personally, I'm suspicious. These guys were just fronting Kalonzo's agenda. I think the idea is very simple. Probably they were told secretly to join us with Kalonzo to follow us.
Now you mistrust them?
No, I don't mistrust them. The point is, these guys, they are just doing Kalonzo's agenda. By joining us, most likely they are just acting like the John the Baptist. They are just coming first, then Kalonzo is going to follow us. And I can tell you for a simple reason. Yesterday I watched the discussion in Citizen TV. It was a very good discussion where on one side there was Raila Odinga being interviewed, and then on the other side there was Kalonzo Musyoka being interviewed. It was very clear that these guys have a lot of the issues. They have a lot of, there's a major grudge between Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka. And those issues are not going to be resolved. One, Kalonzo Musyoka is insisting that they must name their candidate on or before December this year. On the other hand, Raila Odinga is saying, no, we can't name our candidate before next year, March or even April 2017. Number two, there's the issue where Kalonzo is insisting that he has sacrificed a lot of times for other politicians. He's now saying it is time for people to sacrifice for me. Raila Odinga is saying no, He himself has also sacrificed in so many other instances.
And we'll be watching those clips.
So the point is, clearly, and my colleagues should now start probably praising Uhuru Kenyatta, because I can tell you very soon you'll be we may consider you to become our deputy governor here in Nairobi. Because very clearly, Kalonzo Musyoka is on his way to Jubilee. Yes, I can tell you.
Is that what you believe, that Kalonzo Musyoka is actually on his way to Jubilee?
I think let's look at the bigger picture here, not look at the reactions on the sidelines. The bigger picture and the struggle that is going on within CORD is for the leadership of that particular party, and who would be the flag bearer to face Jubilee in the forthcoming general elections in our country, presidential elections. And if you look at that, I think you would see that there are major differences in the principles of this party, the three principles, Odinga, Kalonzo, and Wetangula. And there is definitely going to be a terrible fallout sometimes in the near future, because one of them is going to emerge, and that person would not be acceptable to the other two. So the questions these members of parliament are asking is that if you are not going, if you are a candidate, our party is not going to be the flag bearer of CORD, what is the options for us as a community and as a region? Where would we remain? Are we going? So wouldn't it be better then for us to be part of the winning team? So this is quite logical, is that what they are saying is that we have seen you're not going to be the presidential candidate in CORD, you're going to play second fiddle, and you would remain in the wilderness, and we as a region and as a community would suffer because we would be out of government. Wouldn't it be better now for us to
join Jubilee,
to join the winning team? I think that is the bigger picture here, and that's the big argument.
And talking about the issues within CORD and the different statements by the different leaders, we do have the clips, as you said, that ran on Citizen TV yesterday. Let's have some of them, then we can return to this discussion.
The reason why we should not work with Musalia Mudavadi. The same thing with Gideon Moi. These are some people who have been frustrated by the Jubilee in their areas and would like to have some working alliances. People like Isaac Ruto. So I just wanted to watch this piece.
Because CORD may be joined by so other like-minded parties and individuals, the issue about the CORD flag bearer could not only be about or among the three of you.
Certainly. Certainly, why not? Those who come will be part of us, so we will be talking. Certainly.
We will seriously disagree with that statement. And this is the politics of betrayal. I had that issue, remember, with the G7? Yes. When I had no time, before I joined Raila, I had no time. Yeah? Pushed and there were everything pushing in one direction. Or there was going to, this time round, people want justice, people want true leadership to emerge. I said collectively, what I've gone through, I think amounts to some equivalent of 10 years in detention, politically, the level of sacrifice. Okay, so I don't think really, Hussein, I can personally wait and say we will decide in July. I mean,
wow, he cannot wait to say that it will be decided much later. Clearly between the two leaders there's some disconnect. Yeah, they may say that probably it shouldn't play out in the public, but it is. There is some clear disconnect in what Raila Odinga sees as the future of CORD, including inclusion of these other politicians, Isaac Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi, Gideon Moi, and he says even they could claim the flag bearership of CORD. But your party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, coming out clearly and saying that would be betrayal.
Yeah, the betrayal part, because I think it's been taken out of context in that piece. The betrayal part is coming from what happened with G7. He was betrayed by William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta in 2012. They were in G7. There were 7 leaders who in the former, we had a coalition with Kibaki, PNU and ODM Kenya. That's how Kalonzo became the vice president. And when he was betrayed by these 2 Jubilee leaders and others is when he moved over to CORD. That's the betrayal he's talking about. Now, on the presidential thing that's going on in CORD between Wetangula, Kalonzo and Raila, it's just very simple. 3 people who all have equal chances of being president, going to popularize their own political parties to ensure that one of them becomes a victor. Is there a difference of opinion? Absolutely. And that's where the strength comes in, because if you have 3 people who are thinking the same, then guess what? You don't need the other 2. So you need people who think differently, people who bring in their own different ideas, and that's what makes people strong. I know there's a little concern within the supporters, because members of parliament have been going and getting at each other's throats within the coalition. But you've seen that there'll be a meeting tomorrow between the CORD principals, and that will be resolved, because that is not healthy. And I've said it before here, that is not
what healthy. What about this discussion that there could be other people, other candidates for the CORD ticket, including Musalia Mudavadi, Gideon Moi, that they could come in? What is your party's stand when it comes to that?
We welcome that 100%. Actually, we've encouraged our party leader Kalonzo to meet with some of those other presidential candidates, and he has. We have Martha Karua from Central Kenya, who's dissatisfied with the Jubilee coalition. She wants to come on board, and she's been working with us, especially in Okoa, Kenya. We have Isaac Ruto, who was a member of URP and was never consulted when it was being dissolved to go somewhere else. And he has not seen the need of the Jubilee government talking about development, because development now is done by the counties, not by the national government. National government is supposed just to do policies, and that's why this whole carrot of development does not fly. We have Gideon Moi, who feels oppressed and says he wants to come and join us. We have Peter Munya, the Meru governor from Upper Eastern, who also says that he'll be willing to sit down and talk to like-minded people. So we have several people from around the country who in their own right don't want to be lumped into this one giant place where there's no democracy, where it has already been decided that, you know what, if you have any ambitions to be a leader, wait until 2032. Which means young leaders, I mean like Sakaja and Murkomen and all those guys, have to wait until they're about 70 years old before they have a chance to be a president.
And what would be said if at all Kalonzo comes to your party? What position would he hold, for example? Because as Bwana Mweke here says, and rightfully so, the positions are filled at the top 2 between now and 2032.
My father's house has so many rooms. Well, for me, let me not comment as to which seat that Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka can be given in the event he decides to join us. But I would imagine we do have so many positions. Of course, the 2 top positions, they are not negotiable at all. But of course, there are so many other positions he can get. He can choose to become the speaker. He can choose to become maybe the leader of the majority in the, I don't know, several other places. There are so many positions. But I do not want to discuss that, because I do not know which one is going to be given. But I would imagine for a person who was pushing for the ejection of a nominated member of parliament so that he can take up that position, and surely I would imagine he can settle for anything.
That is
yes,
not
it
true.
is true. No,
that is not true.
There is a guy called Bishop, who is a personal friend of mine. He, in fact, is a person living with disability. That guy was being kicked out by the party. It is on record.
No,
he went to court and blocked that attempt for his ejection from the National Assembly.
We have to
tell me who wanted to get her slot.
We have
he
to
was taken to court, in fact.
We have to stop that propaganda.
The perception that Kalonzo is desperate, and therefore he can accept anything.
We have to stop that propaganda. First of all, let's set the record straight.
One point.
You want to be truthful.
One point.
Give Kenyans that.
The point is, if you watched one of the clip which I was thinking probably we are going to play, Kalonzo said very clearly that he does not want to be in the cold again. Surely,
you know, I want to discourage leaders, and that is a very big problem we're having in this country, and to discourage leaders from coming in front of national TV, very widely watched, and lie. If we leaders cannot stand for the truth, then we are finished as a country. MP Irungu knows very clearly Bishop Mutemi went to court because he appeared on the roll of UDF, as a member of UDF, right? And he was nominated by Wiper. So somebody took him to court saying that you are not properly nominated.
And that is the party.
That is the truth. It wasn't the party. It was a young fellow called Morioki Ndwiga who has nothing to do with the party. And that is the truth. And verifiable truth, because it's in court. So please don't lie just to get some political position or to get ahead somewhere with your party.
Yes.
Kalonzo has said very clearly, even as late as Friday when we were in Kajiado, Kitengela, before he went out of the country, that he has many options, but he was very clear, and you have the clips, that one option is not Jubilee, and he has said it clearly. So you can't push somebody in a box and say that they just want to get something.
Do you think do you think that Kalonzo is being truthful when he says that Jubilee is not an option?
Well, I mean, that is his opinion. That is what he said, that is his opinion, and I can't say anything to the contrary. What I can say for very clearly is that what is happening in court at the moment is very clear, that there is differences, very serious differences, that Wetangula and Kalonzo are not likely to be the flag bearers for court. That is quite obvious. And the question is, once that becomes very clear, whether it is in December or in April or in May, what is the option for these two other leaders in court? Would they stay in and swallow their pride, or would they leave? And if they're going to leave, I'm sure the biggest beneficiaries in that particular equation would be Jubilee. We would be a big beneficiary because the opposition would be further divided. So the other element that I also wanted to touch on is the fact that the leader of CORD is speaking about broadening the alliance. But this is an alliance of the disaffected. When you look at all the other names that he has mentioned, these are people who are dissatisfied. These are personalities. And the debate in the opposition seems to be based on which personality should be in what position, who should be leading what. There is really no discussion about the issues, their agenda, their manifesto. What kind of a Kenya are they going to work on? So the Kenyan public are watching in dismay, seeing that in fact they don't offer no alternative other than platitudes and promises. And this is what is going to make it very a major difference come the elections, because the choices is a party with a very clear-cut leadership, a party with a clear manifesto, a party with a broad development agenda, and a group of an alliance of disaffected. That doesn't simply have anything to
Hassan
provide
talks about,
seems
to be accusing CORD of going after disaffected persons. Isn't that what Jubilee is doing? That when Kalonzo Musyoka seems to be not so happy with the happenings in court and therefore go after him. When Moses Wetangula seems uncertain of his position in the coalition, so go for him as well.
Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. I would imagine every political party is usually formed by persons who are not happy with the status quo. So if at all Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka or even Raila Odinga is not happy with what is happening in court, we welcome in our formation. So I don't see anything wrong with that position.
Okay. And I think that wraps up our discussion in terms of politics. And as we come to the end of our news review this morning, of course being a Monday, I'll ask you to give us the news agenda this week. A lot has been happening, of course. The selection panel that is going to pick the next